Hi Aquarius, welcome to mid-August to mid-September. If you are watching this as your extended, this is the new format, so you always have your video before the month begins. No more waiting. We have fixed the problem. So let's talk about some dates. So until the 22nd of August, you have the Sun and Mercury in Leo, which Aquarius rising, that's your 7th house. You have Mercury retrograde as of now in Leo across from you, whether it's across from your natal sun or it's your 7th house, Aquarius rising. And as of August 10th, Mercury will go direct in Leo. So for you, I would say this is the perfect time between the 10th and the 22nd, those 12 days after Mercury's direct, for you to say all the things that you want to say. But make sure that you're being honest. And if there's anybody who's not being honest with you, this is a really great time to clear it up. If you've happened upon some information, if something has made you feel like people you thought were in your corner are actually working against you, this is a perfect time to speak up. If you feel like you're not being treated the way that you should, maybe you're not being spoken to the way that you appreciate, maybe you're not being respected enough, maybe you're not being valued, something is making you feel, what is this 5 of Swords? Let's look. These people have left their swords and gone down by the water in leisure. They've left their swords there in total trust. And someone amongst their party whom they have trusted is now behind their back as they are distracted and very comfortable. It's a big part of that, of this energy. They're very comfortable. They trust this person. And this trusted person now behind their back will collect things they very much need. This is not someone who just takes something from you or lies to you. This is someone that through the act of taking from you, deceiving you, however it happens, they take from you something that is essential to your safety, essential for your well-being, for your security. And so if there is someone in your life right now that needs a reset, perhaps needs to be reminded of who you are, between the 8th and the 22nd, please go ahead and do all the talking. If you feel like you have something to apologize for, if you need to right some wrongs or make some amends, this is also the perfect time to do that. Now, between the 10th and the 22nd, if you are in a relationship, you want to talk about security, you want to talk about children, you want to talk about the future of those children, you want to talk about the security financially and emotionally that will lead to you one day having children. You are ambitious as fuck about family life, about children, about being a part of that very traditional family unit. Your mind keeps, if you're in an established relationship, your mind just keeps going there. You have a vision in your mind of what it looks like when one succeeds, not just in your work life, but just in life. You know, what does that complete success look like? It's these people who are together and they're in love and they have, you know, fill in those blanks. And if you're in the midst of filling in those blanks already, you have conversations about that. If you haven't started that process yet, you have conversations about that. If you are in a casual situation right now, it can become much more serious because these are the conversations that you're having, right? You want to talk about what that vision is that you see. And for some of you, you may even want to talk about why things have cooled down a bit lately. If you're in a relationship that's established and you haven't really been feeling each other, you haven't really been intimate with each other, it's a good time to talk about why. It's a good time to get back on the same page. And one of the ways you do that is by talking about your future together. Okay. But also I will say, do not continue to stay committed to somebody just because you think they'll fit that picture that you have in your head. If you don't want them, your vision doesn't work with them in it because you don't actually want them. They may look the part, but they're not right for the part. Just because somebody looks the part doesn't mean they can actually play the part. On the 25th, Venus will move into Leo. So for most of August, we have Venus in Cancer, which is Aquarius rising, your 6th house. And then on the 25th, right at the end of the month, we have Venus move across from you. And when it does so, it's going to be right across from Pluto in your sign. And we have the first in a set of Venus-Pluto oppositions. Now, what this does for you, we already have that Queen of Swords and the Devil card on the table. Your priorities are being reshuffled, and I think it's got quite a lot to do with a remixing of what you believe romance to be. You have a very specific sort of idea of how things should be, what kind of person it should be, what kind of love it should be, what kind of family it should be, what it should look like. You may find that your assessments that seemed so black and white and you were really sure of yourself, you may find that some of those assessments were inaccurate. You may find that someone who at first seemed very much, very passionate, very into it, they're actually not. They're not as, they turn out to not be as good as you thought they were. And then there are other people that you found to be a bit reticent and a little removed and a little distant and perhaps a bit cold. And you realize that actually they're a much better person. So there's chaos around established opinions already. You have strong opinions, especially when it comes to people. And some of those opinions now, because of the events of August into September, by mid-September, you're like, ooh, that's not at all what I thought it was. It's actually quite the opposite of what I've been thinking. So there's a switch. And I think as Venus continues to oppose Pluto through this transit, you'll find that through the door of chaos walk some really important understandings about love and what you up until now have wanted from love or thought love was, and what you're beginning to understand as you're maturing more emotionally, as you're moving from phase to phase of love, the different phases. You're beginning to understand that people who at first feel like, okay, this is love, this is what it means, they may not have the staying power. Whereas people who are more reserved, more quiet, may in fact in the long run be much more passionate. It's one way it can go. Another way that you could be going through this realization is chaos opens the door for you to make some choices that otherwise would be too hard for you. It upends situations, friendships, family relationships, housing situations, so you can, if you need to, get out or move without being the bad guy or without having all the responsibility of it put on you. So if you do want to move, or if you do want to stop talking to somebody, or if you need to break up with somebody or something like that, you know, get in front of this hurt by understanding that this opposition late in August into mid-September, it's coming, and it's going to ask you some pretty tough questions. So if you're in denial about how you're being treated, or if you're happy or not, or if you're feeling accepted or loved or valued, if you have those questions and you're just denying them or sublimating them and pushing them aside, you should really spend the next 3 weeks thinking about it and making changes before the changes are made for you, and they hurt even worse because then it feels like something that's being done to you. So the thing I can say about Venus opposing Pluto, what it does to your priorities, is that it says all the material and worldly concerns about why you can't do what you really want to do, they don't matter. Material is material. You will make more, do more. You'll somehow be able to reset it or get it back, but don't hold back on how you feel for material reasons. Pluto wants to introduce chaos into your love life in a way that makes you feel free, even if it hurts at first. So get in front of it, hurt yourself before the universe comes in and hurts your feelings. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. And most of the hurt is surrounding this fuckboy energy right here. It's easy for you guys to get sucked into the fuckboy trap, though, because you rarely like anyone, so you just assume that if you actually go through the trouble, or, you know, someone actually meets your standards of you being able to like them, then it's like you're stuck with them or something, even if they turn out to be like a shitty person. All right, let's talk about Mercury retrograde some more, and about Mercury direct. So it goes direct on the 10th, right? I would say that if you, from now until the 10th, really take care of yourself and get anyone out of your life that you just don't want to be around anymore anyway, if you do it now, you won't regret it later, because then if you're free and clear after the 10th, then you can meet someone else like right away, because things are popping for Aquarian singles after the 10th all the way into mid-September. So because everybody likes you, you really don't have to do much, but it would be nice to just sit back and relax and let people prove themselves to you and not put any effort into it whatsoever. It'll add to your mystery. It'll make you look even cooler. It'll give you this air of like being receptive even though you're not. It all works to your favor. Just be really cool. Just be really cool. Also remember that after Mercury's direct on the 10th, you still have Venus in Cancer, which is a very sensual energy. So really like lean into that. I did my makeup on camera today instead of in the mirror. And let me tell you, this looks so cool. A little bit like Joker clownish, but I love it. I have a mirror right here. I looked in the mirror. I look fucking crazy. I was like so excited to look in the mirror. I was like, oh my God, it's gonna look so good. Bitch, I look like Harley Quinn in the mirror. Anyway, okay. But like not like a good version, like the crazy version from the cartoon. Okay. So, because you're cool, because you're mysterious, because you're not trying too hard, people are falling all over you. Give them the chance to prove themselves to you. And if they don't prove themselves to you, and if they don't make enough of an effort, just don't even think about them again. Next. Okay? And also, give them a chance to prove it to you, but also give yourself time to reflect on what's happened before, and don't jump at anyone who invites you to things or likes you or asks you out. Make them work for it. Okay? Let yourself be a little elusive. Let yourself be a little hard to get, you know? Now, what happens when Mercury's directo? And that energy, you know, it's going to push through until, I would say, even the end of September. So Mercury goes direct and people want to take action. They want to press the button. whether it's on a relationship or a work project moving forward. Now, because we're doing it, you know, next video for the next month as the extended, we're doing everything. We're doing love, work, health, everything. People want to press the button, especially when it comes to work projects, but also like your friends are like, yeah, let's take that trip. Your romantic partner's like, okay, fine, let's put that, you know, down payment down, whatever it is. After the 10th, things become actionable. And it's nice, it's easy, you like it, you love seeing things progress, you love seeing things grow, you love seeing things change for the better. So the change is joyous. And as long as you stay on top of the stuff we just talked about these, you know, really just reassessing your priority, you're good. Now, when Mercury goes direct, the other thing that you want to do is you want to take that time to let people clarify what they really want. You don't have to step into a battle with anybody and get them to, you know, want a better life or want a happier life. All you can do is clarify for yourself what you want. But if you try to help anybody else crawl out of their hole right now, you're going to start fucking with your money. So this is where the love reading is bleeding into the money reading now, right? If you're like a bat out of hell coming out of something. I don't know what it is, but you're coming out of something. And you're going to come right into a world of hurt and pain if you cling to someone that like is a mess. This person is a mess, and all they do is drag you down, and all they will do is drag you down, and it will affect your finances. So if there's anybody out there that you need clarity from, but you don't even know if you want them, do not be around them. Do not spend time with them. The clarity you're wanting from them, you're not going to get it. Use the fact that you just don't want to be around them, and you know you don't, as all the clarity and closure that you need. But being involved with this person is a mistake. Bottom of the deck is that Ace of Pentacles. Let's get into this work reading, work and money. Venus and Jupiter in Cancer. Okay? Just be as brave as you can. Like, you know that thing, the Ellen Watts thing, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What would you invent? What would you write? What would you sing? What would you paint if you knew it would be a huge success? Just do that. Do it all through Leo season. If you were already a star and everything you did was just fucking golden, what would you do? What risks would you take? What dream would be big enough for you? Dream it. Do it. You can. You can. You must. Because Venus and Jupiter in Cancer like this is for most of August. It's such a gift. Why not? Dream as big as you can and do something that I was going to say collaborative and creative, but really what I mean is do something that makes you vulnerable. It puts you in a vulnerable place. I know that's scary, but there's a lot of money to be made there. There's a side of you, the vulnerability in you is very compelling, it's very attractive. I had a TV show director tell me once, you have to learn how to appear soft on camera. You are too harsh. And I remember being like, what? Like, I know I have kind of a harsh personality, but like, are you saying you can see it? He was like, yeah. He was like, you need to put yourself in a really soft mindset to look soft and pleasing on camera. And I was like, okay, that's really interesting. Like, I never thought about that. Your softness is very compelling right now, and it's a key to your success. And if you're worried about showing softness or vulnerability or empathy, especially in a work environment, I completely understand. And yet I think it is the secret to your success and the secret ladder up to a new level. I really do think that. You will surprise a lot of people with vulnerability right now, and it's a different kind of authenticity. Like, you're always yourself. But being very soft and loving and empathetic right now will just put you in a whole other category. It will make people adore you. I think you should do it. It makes you look really good. And it doesn't make you weak. What it actually does is it opens up prospects for you that you don't know are there yet. That like boost of kindness and sweetness that you get from someone who usually isn't that way means a lot to people. And if you were to use that charm and that sweetness, kind of like sprinkling salt, I think you can make some really beautiful dishes in your work environment or at your business or with your clients, and you can have an extremely fruitful time. The work reading starts with the Ace of Pentacles. I think it's a very profitable time for you as long as you can master the art of showing that soft side at work without feeling like it's making you weak. You don't want to be weak. If there's one thing I know about Aquarians, it's like you just do not want to appear weak no matter what. I'm smiling in Gemini because Geminis will go completely unhinged, fucking psycho, Terminator crazy, and not realize that we look like the weakest, most vulnerable person. Like in our heads, we're like a monster. We're like, right? But like on the outside, we look like a kitten who's having a bad day. You know what I mean? Aquarians are like, I don't want to be weak. And they literally are like the Terminator. And they're like, I don't want to show weakness. Like, relax. You're not showing weakness. You're just being nice. People need it. But don't like give it to the person who doesn't need it. Like there are people who don't need this kindness and understanding for you. Those are the people that you should cut the fuck off. You need to show that kindness and empathy and understanding in a work environment, not in your love life. Okay. There's professional increase here as well, especially if you're seen as helpful. There's some really good collabs that you can get. There's a lot more attention coming your way just on the internets or, you know, just socially. And then it might be a good idea those last 2 weeks of August if you could maybe take a little time off and do something creative. I know not everybody has the means to do that, but even if that means you spend a few days at home by yourself and take long baths, you know, just those last 2 weeks of August are such an incredible reset for the mind and the body, and a great way to usher in fall and really ready ourselves for a change of season. It's a lovely time to just do nothing and be as receptive and open and watery as you can. Okay? So I'd say as we get to the end of Leo season, to the end of August, just taking the time to really feel the feels, but luxuriate while you're feeling the feels. And, you know, if you can take a vacation, you'll just get even more attention. So if you're looking for attention, take a vacation. Now, oh yeah, so I'm looking at my notes, but I'm ahead of my notes. The last 2 weeks, what I wrote here is get your fall in order. Now, I would love to see you have a fall that brings you enormous amounts of financial success. I would love to see you have a fall that sees you reset whatever archetype you're working off of, whatever aesthetic you're working off of, and really reinvent it to be something even prettier, even more driven and determined, and someone who looks even more no nonsense and really is about their shit. I would say that the Strength card here is about revamping your look. The Chariot card here is about strides made at work and innovation and new ideas at work or new business ideas for your side hustle, whatever. And then that Magician is you being able to bring these things together and create effectively a new personality for yourself, a new avatar for the fall, and really get yourself in really good fighting shape by mid-September. By mid-September, you feel like your new look is solid. You have very good prospects in terms of work moving forward. You're feeling very confident and very, very capable. And the combination of these things does put you in a position to make things happen. And you can make things happen pretty easily. And it feels so good. It's lovely. It's lovely, lovely energy. Now then, we have Mars in Libra. And what that's going to do is, because you are an Aquarius sun, well, if it's your rising, this doesn't apply, but if you're a natal Aquarius sun, that this is going to square Mars entering Libra. That's going to create cardinal squares with your natal sun. Okay, so this is a time where I think it's important for you to be as much yourself and as open as you can about what you think and what you want. Share your opinions freely, say what you want, be as ambitious as you want, really just go for it and be loud and proud about it. And I think it brings you enormous amounts of success. Enormous. Your tenacity and your opinionated, character, your tendency to be opinionated really pays off right now. And it can create a great loop of wealth for you. You just keep talking and keep being yourself. There are some new rules. There is some new infrastructure to the changes going on in your life right now. A few things have to be revamped, especially in your work situation. But if you're excited about it and you really like what you do, I think you take all those changes in stride. And also living not for what's happening now, but living for what it gets you later is really going to help. And if this is what you have in mind for later, it gives you a lot of energy in the now and in the moment, okay? But there are income increases here. There's increased presence as well. People know you. People respect you, especially in your work environment. All right, now let's talk about health, though. Health. So that Venus-Jupiter conjunction happens throughout August until the 25th. And for you, it's a really good sign because you have really good energy. You're in great shape. If you're healthy, basically is the point. You're healthy. And so there's so much you can do, and you should. And from now until that last, 10 days of August, do whatever you want. But after that, those last 10 days of August, we want to get really sedentary and really watch what you're eating. You want to slow all the way down before the universe makes you slow down. You just need to sit down. No big deal. But if you try to push those last 10 days of August and into September, you will create situations for yourself that are more work than they need to be. You'll be going over the same thing over and over again, trying to fix something that you should have just left alone and done later. Now, we also have Saturn and Neptune retrograde. So watch what you eat, watch what you eat, watch what you eat. Okay, watch what you eat and watch watch the looping. Watch the looping about things that you cannot bring yourself to leave yet. Watch the looping. You've got this moon, you've got that Aquarius full moon. Watch the looping. You're gonna start obsessing about things that you can't get right, that you can't leave alone, until you come to the emotional place where you understand why you have to leave that shit alone. Just be real careful not to get too much in your head about it. I think sometimes you think that if you get in your head about something, you can make things different, or if you obsess enough about it, or if you loop enough about it, you can change reality somehow, and that's not how that works. Obsessing about something just keeps putting you in the energy of that thing that you don't want because you're obsessed over the feeling of what you don't want. This is not the way to fix it. The moon's just trying to tell you that even though those cups are full and you've spent a long time with those cups, it's time to walk away from them. And you're not going to like hearing that, and that's going to be difficult. But the way to deal with it is to understand it instead of just letting it run. You have to break the loop. You've got to break the loop. All through August, you will be called again and again and again to break the fucking loop. And you've got to make the conscious decision to be like, even if my intuition is screaming, even if I know exactly what to do, even if I feel it in my bones, I'm not going to worry about it. That's the important distinction. I can know something is coming. I can feel what it is. I know what needs to be done, what needs to change. I know what's happening. But I also need to know when to act and when not to act. I need to know when to be consumed by this and when not to be consumed by this. Sometimes you're consumed with something because it's easier to be consumed with it than it is to take decisive action about something. I know. No, I'm like the most annoying person I've ever met. Okay, now, Saturn, Neptune retrograde we were talking about. Moderation, proportion, and keep yourself in a good mood. Moderation, proportion, and keep yourself in a good mood. And the cards say what that means is stay the fuck away from anybody who's wasted your time in the past and now for some reason wants to come along and hangman you again. That's what it means. This scenario has happened to me twice already. This is still also Mercury retrograde bullshit. But even if it looks like so, it is so. Just like it was the last time. Okay? So no to that. Now, on a completely other note, and this is just purely astrology, be really careful with things at knee and calf level. We're usually pretty good because we look down at our phones when we're walking around and stuff. We're usually pretty good at figuring out what's like in front of us here at ground level. But things that are closer by at your knee level, we have a tendency to not see. So what I would say is be very aware of your floor space, especially at home for the next month, for the next 30 days. Be conscious of how much clutter there is around you. Be conscious of walkways being clear. Be conscious of any rugs that have a tendency to roll up or anything that's like a trip hazard. And if you can, if you have the means and if you have the time, maybe start to get some clutter out of the house. And if you're thinking, oh, I don't have a lot of clutter, yeah, you do. Love you. Okay. I'll see you in a few weeks, yeah?